Have you ever thought about who Moaning Myrtle really was? What if she wasn't just an annoying ghost haunting a school bathroom, but a tragic soul with a heartbreaking past? In today's video, you will uncover the hidden story of Myrtle Warren, one filled with pain, loneliness, and a fate worse than death. At first glance, Moaning Myrtle seems like comic relief. She whines, wails, and sulks in the bathroom, scaring students and throwing tantrums. But her story is anything but funny. Born into a Muggle family, Myrtle faced relentless bullying from the moment she set foot in Hogwarts. Her thick glasses and troubled skin made her an easy target. She had no friends, no support, only taunts and whispers behind her back. Then, one fateful day, her suffering took a deadly turn. In 1943, the legendary Chamber of Secrets was opened, unleashing the monster hidden within. While most feared the unknown terror stalking the school, Myrtle became its first victim. But was it really just the basilisk that ended her life? Or was there something far more sinister at play? Myrtle died alone, mocked and ridiculed, even in her final moments. But her story didn't end there. Instead of moving on, she returned, trapped as a ghost, forever bound to the very place of her suffering. She wanted revenge. And her first act of vengeance, haunting the girl who tormented her in life. The Ministry of Magic tried to intervene, but all they did was confine her to Hogwarts. And so, Myrtle spent decades locked in a cycle of misery, bound to a school that never cared for her. Yet, despite her sorrow, she became more than just a ghostly nuisance. She witnessed the return of the Chamber's horror. She helped Harry Potter uncover vital secrets. She even formed an odd connection with Draco Malfoy, sharing his pain in one of his darkest hours. Myrtle's story is one of tragedy, but also of unexpected importance. She was a girl the world forgot, a soul lost in the echoes of Hogwarts' past. But was she truly doomed to wander forever? Or did she find some small measure of peace in the end? Stay with me as we dive deep into the life, death, and haunting legacy of Moaning Myrtle. The air in the Hogwarts girls' bathroom was thick with the scent of damp stone and aged wood. The dim candlelight flickered as Myrtle Warren sobbed quietly inside one of the stalls. She had been humiliated again. Her classmate, Olive Hornby, had mocked her thick glasses in front of everyone. No one stood up for her. No one ever did. Her world had always been one of loneliness, and tonight was no different. She clutched her knees to her chest, wishing she could disappear. And in the next moment, she did. The door creaked open. Myrtle heard footsteps. A boy's voice echoed off the walls, speaking a strange, hissing language. It sent a shiver down her spine. The air shifted. A presence slithered near. Curious, she wiped her tears and pushed the stall door open. Her heart stopped. Two enormous golden eyes stared back at her. Cold, unblinking. She didn't even have time to scream. In an instant, her body collapsed, lifeless. Myrtle Warren was no more. Tom Riddle stood outside the bathroom, silent, listening. He knew what had happened the moment the basilisk struck. A part of him had almost hoped she wouldn't open the door, that she would stay hidden. But she hadn't. A necessary casualty. He stepped away from the entrance and disappeared down the corridor, his heart pounding, not with fear, but with something else. Power. He had been searching for the answer to immortality for years. Death had always fascinated him, and now he had finally crossed the line that no other student in Hogwarts dared to approach. He had taken a life. Not just any life, but the life of a Muggle-born girl. One he barely even knew. She meant nothing to him, and that was the point. Murder rips the soul apart, he had read. And that was exactly what he needed. Professor Slughorn, his trusted mentor, had once spoken of Horcruxes, of objects that could hold a piece of one's soul, preventing true death. But how? Slughorn had never explained, only recoiled in horror at the question. Tom had found the answer elsewhere. Murder was the key. A life for a Horcrux, and tonight he had paid the price. Myrtle's death had opened the door. With calm precision, Tom returned to his dormitory, retrieving the small black diary he had prepared, a simple object, but one that would soon hold a part of him. He whispered the spell, the dark incantation he had spent months perfecting. The air around him grew thick, suffocating. For a brief moment, a terrible pain ripped through his chest, unlike anything he had ever felt. And then it was gone. He opened his eyes, breathless. The diary lay still on his desk. It looked unchanged. But Tom knew better. A piece of him now lived inside it. Days passed. Myrtle's body was removed. Her death ruled a tragic accident. The school mourned, but Tom had little time for grief. He had more important things to consider. His first Horcrux was made, but he had tasted something far greater. Power beyond anything he had imagined. The act of splitting his soul had changed him. Something inside felt looser, less human. The diary was no ordinary Horcrux. It was a weapon, a legacy. Tom had no intention of keeping it forever. One day, someone else would use it to finish what he started. The Chamber of Secrets had been opened once. It could be opened again. Myrtle's death had been the first step, but it would not be the last. He would ensure it. Years later, as Lord Voldemort, he barely remembered the girl he had killed. Myrtle Warren, the lonely ghost of a school bathroom, had faded into insignificance. But her death had been the turning point, the moment a 16-year-old boy crossed the final threshold.